Welcome to Circus Whispers. This is episode 1. I am Nadja van der Weijden. I will be your host today. In this podcast, we will talk to young makers doing a residency at Tent House for Contemporary Circus. All artists are more or less active in this circus discipline and beyond. Just before they enter the studio, we invite them for an open conversation. Together, we discuss their artistry, topics and themes and practical dilemmas that concerns them, their generation and the circus field. This week, we sit down with House of Circus, consisting of Nick van der Heyden and Germain Charlat. They start this week with a residency at Tent and take us into the world of circus and drag. Our previous resident, Paul van der Waterlaat, will give them hints of inspiration and will look back on his past residency. And also, just to share, we speak in English since most of the makers are non-Dutch speaking. So, who are the makers? Who are the makers? The previous resident was Paul van der Waterlaat, and we will listen to what he encountered during his residency first. After that, we'll talk to the residents that are going to start their residency next week.
My name is Paul van der Waterlaat, and during my Maker for 1 week residency, I ran into this, liberating idea that this week was absolutely not about the need to present something finished or polished by the end of the week. It's really a research week. And that provided me with the time and the calmness to really get into the details of my idea. And I was working with Zenia Banuscher, Dries van Wallen and Samuel Reiner on this. And I was interested to work with the idea of a rocking boat, as if it's sailing in heavy weather. So it would be going from left to right, and the bodies that were on it constantly needed to adjust to the balance that was constantly changing. The boat's not there, it's just in the minds of the performers. They were just standing on a solid ground. And this idea can very easily become a joke. And it wouldn't be a good joke. But this time I had and the serious attention to detail from my side, but also definitely from the performer side, made it to something poetic and promising. So that I feel was the real gift from this week. That combined with the warm and supportive atmosphere that Tent provides, made it into, as I said, a real gift.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for this contribution. We will come back to this later with the guests that are sitting at our virtual table right now. This week, we are talking with House of Circus, consisting of Nick van der Heyden and Germain Charlat. They are starting the residency this week at Tent, and we are very much looking forward to it. So let's introduce them. Nick and Germain are going to research 2 disciplines that work together like strawberry and chocolate, as they say themselves. Definitely a good combination if you ask me. So what's that combination? Well, we'll hear more in a sec. Nick van der Heyden is drawn to his hands and Germain Charlat is attracted to the sky. They know each other from their circus studies, AKP in Tilburg, if I'm correct. So, Nick, from which discipline do you come, and what other disciplines do you flirt with or are overlapping?
My name is Nick. Hello, I'm a hand balancer, specialized in hand balancing. And I've been doing circus for really long already, so I've had loads of time to have a little taste of many different disciplines. But for this project, I really like to focus on the hand balancing and mixing it with the art of drag.
Nice. And have you been working with drag before, or is this a topic that is new to you? How does that function?
Yes, I have been working with drag before. It's always been, when I first saw an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, I directly was attracted to drag. And 3 years ago, I've been working in Ibiza in a dinner show. And in the dinner show, I had a drag character. So there it kind of slowly started growing and growing and growing. And there I found that it's so broad actually. You can do so much.
Yeah, of course. And then the two topics together to starting to melt will probably also bring a lot of new information and new insights.
Yes, that is what we're gonna find out.
Hey, and are there topics or themes that you often deal with within your own work, but also you two working together?
Well, I think topics that are always there is how to innovate a circus discipline by itself. I think it's hand balancing, but I think also trapeze and actually all the disciplines are there's a physical part that is more like I see it more as a sport, but there is a very big part of circus that's also the art and how do you do it. And I think with the art part of circus is where you try to mix and blend with that more physical side of circus. And yeah, you can go in many infinite directions to combine, and yeah, we chose to combine it with drag this time.
And this time it's drag, yes. Cool. And Germain, so tell me, you're from France, and where did the circus virus get you when you were younger? I was wondering.
So far as I remember, it was when I was 3 or 4. It's like this huge circus where I was living, and I saw this trapeze artist flying in the sky, and I was like, oh, why not me? I would love to do that. And since then it all started. Yeah. I have been training in different schools in France. I went to Chalon, like the lycée, the high school in Bayern. Then I went to Amiens, and then I ended up in Acapa to polish all this.
And that's where you met each other, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, and Germain, a little more on you. So you are mixing disciplines. Can you tell me a little bit more on what disciplinary flavors came out there so far?
Sure. My main discipline is trapeze. I really like to work with also different apparatus or disciplines, like clowning. Drag also is really something I like. Makeup, costume, modeling, some dancing, and I like to bring them all together. And I think that's what makes the magic.
Yeah, nice. And so together you are House of Circus. What does this title stand for of your duo? Can you tell me a little bit more on that?
Yes, of course. Drag is a very long and very rich history, but it started mostly that in the 1980s in America, especially in the Black community. It was already difficult to be Black, but it was especially difficult to be gay. So often, young Black gay people would end up on the street, and they would find like-minded people, and they would help each other out. They started to organize these balls for each other to kind of get a taste of the fantasy of the rich life that they wanted to be. Without having it, they would live it for a moment. And these balls grew to competitions. They called them balls. And these groups started to be more family-like, and they started to call themselves houses. The house of something. And House of Capri, the House of Ninja. And actually, to honor this tradition of houses, we wanted to call ourselves House of Circus. And circus, because we are circus artists, and House of Circus because we are doing drag as well.
Yeah, nice. Hey, so and how long have you been working on this topic? Is this individually, but maybe also together? To what and where did the interest come from? I mean, it's something that both of you have been working with already. Yeah. But is this something individually, or have you already been working on that together? How did that evolve?
All right. So the project itself started to flourish I would say, tell me if I'm wrong, maybe like 2 years ago ish. And we've been working on that individually before, for sure. Like I personally started to flourish this idea in my head for really, really long, like 5-6 years. It's really like even more actually. It's really a project that it's something that is really growing from long, and that solid roots in the floor for me. That is really from the heart, and that's really I don't know how you say that in English. Maybe Nick, you can add something for that.
Yeah, I think slowly it became like, oh my God, we can actually do something with this together, and it becoming more than a fantasy. It's really gonna happen, and that's really exciting.
Fantasy is becoming real now.
Fantasy is becoming reality.
Yes. Hey, and at the moment, do you think you're working towards an entire performance, or is the research still exploratory? How do you see that?
Our big dream is a 1 hour show on the short term, and a worldwide arena tour in the next 10 years.
Yes, dream big.
Exactly.
Thank you, guys. Hey, and now we're going to go to the next topic, the bump. The bump. The bump. So something that I'm always very curious about, since makership isn't always easy, good projects don't come naturally. What are you hoping to or are afraid of to running into this upcoming week? Tell me more.
Okay, well, first we have a lot of ideas. We have prepared that really well. We have a lot of material that's already ready, a lot of things that we made, costume, structures and everything. But now we need to make them in action, to put everything in action, to bring everything together, to link it, to see if it works or not. And I think the thing we're gonna discover and we're probably gonna bump into is this gonna work the way we planned? And if it doesn't, what then? And how are we gonna be able to adapt what we didn't plan to what's gonna happen? Especially when we work in duet. And we both can work on stage by ourselves for a show, but how is it to work together? Especially when we work with this drag character clown on stage together with so much to give and to bring on, how the electricity is gonna work out. I think this is for us the biggest bump we're gonna experience.
Yeah, this is something that we have to discover, and it's a new road we're taking. So
nice. Hey, and you wrote something beforehand. You wrote 3 S's that you would like to avoid. Can you tell me a little bit more on that?
Yes. Okay. So then the 3 S's that we would like to avoid is shyness, shame, and seriousness.
And how are you gonna transform them into something that you want to abroad or that you want to reach? How do you see that, and why do you want to avoid them actually?
Also, from a clown point of view, like when we avoid shyness, we don't avoid to be shy on stage or whatever. It's more going for it, and not because we could be shy and not be shy to be shy. You know, like it's more about going for it 100% and with no judgment and not being too serious about it. That's basically the point here.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you cannot be shy, or you cannot have shame, or you can be serious. I think in this creation, you want to keep an open mind and be able to work on the whole spectrum, and not have them weighing us down.
Hey, and so you're planning on developing your own drag figures during the residency. How are you planning on doing that? Can you share that?
It's more about how our drag figure are gonna take the stage. I would say we already have our drag figure kind of installed, even if it can change. But we already have our style about it, and we want to see how they deal with the situation more than how we build them. It's still related to how we are going to connect together, how we're going to interact with the theater part, the clown part, how we can do quick changes, how we can go on the trapeze, maybe to drag on the trapeze, how we can deal with the heels and with the wig rolled into the ropes, or how do we keep a dress when we're upside down. All this kind of interaction that we can have from drag to circus, how it
the last part I couldn't hear. How it
develops.
How it develops. Yeah, of course. Hey, let me share something Paul mentioned before in his sharing on what he bumped into about discovering how to give himself calmness and time to dive into details of the residency. How do you see that? Do you search for calmness also, or the opposite? How is that for you?
I think we all work in different ways. I know that sometimes we get creative with being into a stressful environment. Sometimes we get creative with being in a calm. We're just going to figure it out and see what works for us. If we need calm time, then we're going to take it. If we need to have a stressful time or more rushed environment, we're going to take it also this way. We don't know how it's going to work out yet, so we really going to see.
You're going to take it as it comes, actually, how the week develops in a way.
Then we're going to find our way to work together there, and then we're going to have a more of a pattern that's going to work for us, but we still have to discover it.
Okay, off to the thing. The thing. So every time we ask the residents to bring an object or prop and discuss these things or thing with us, you've brought something and you can tell us what it is, what the role is. We will zoom in on the basis of this object that you chose to bring along. Is it something that you've always had with you? Is it reoccurring? Is it a recurring factor in your performances? Is it like a talisman? Do you even have a talisman? I actually wonder. Is this an object of which you have no idea what it is, but you really want to use it? Tell us more. What did you bring? And let us hear or show or tell.
I think we wanted to propose you to just make the sound of the object and you could guess what it is.
Do I guess or does the audience guess?
We can do, you for now, I guess.
For me for now, yes.
Should I start with mine?
Yes.
Okay, so here's my object. I'll let you guess what it is.
Okay, I'm having an idea. I think I have. First I thought it was a robot, then I thought, no, it's too repetitory. So maybe it's something like a sewing machine?
Yes, a sewing machine.
Yes.
Yes. So this is my object. Why a sewing machine? When I do drag, I don't know, because it's a big part of it for me. I really like to do costumes and to create my own outfits how I want them. I think it gives a lot of freedom in the creation. I used to, all the time when I was a kid, from as far as I can remember, I was always doing stuff with sewing by hand and creating things and remaking clothes and things like that, and doing costume always by hand. And at one point I needed to open up and get a sewing machine to make it possible in the drag and to be able to create costume for the scene and all. So that's an important object for me. Voila.
Yes. Hey, and Nick, what did you bring? Can you show or hear?
Yes, all right. I will. You can also hear it. So I will try to do the same thing and bring my microphone to the object. All right, here we go.
It's really hard.
It's not working. Never mind. I will just tell it. I will just say it.
Good. So, tell me.
No. So my is a bit more more post-performance object. It's a massage gun. Yeah, I'm not old, but I do feel like as a performing artist, I do need to take more care about my body. I need to warm up longer. I need to be a little bit more careful. And it's a great, easy, relaxing way to relieve stress in the muscles. So that's it's an object that I kind of use daily. Almost. It's I don't take it with me everywhere, but the massage gun.
Thank you for sharing, guys. Good. Hey, so each time for a week, the previous resident sends a quote, statement, or thought to the next resident as food for thought, maybe, and hopefully to help the makers during their upcoming residency. Live in the show, they will report their thoughts on that quote. The quote. The quote. We're going to now listen to what Paul from the Waterlaat shares with you. Here we are.
Dear Nick and Germain, well, first of all, I want to tell you that I love your idea on merging the drag and circus. I'm a member of the queer community, and I have always been fascinated by this, by drag, because it has this unique mix. It has a serious sense of urgency on one side, that it's really almost activistic and important, and on the other side it has this campy, fun and ridiculous quality. For me, this relation on what is serious and what is not so serious is very fascinating. So I thought I'd share with you a quote by feminist writer Susan Sontag, who wrote Notes on Camp. It's an essay in which she is defining the camp taste back in 1964. So there we go. It's a queer cult classic. I guess you probably know it, but maybe not everybody does. So there we go. The whole point of camp is to dethrone the serious. Camp is playful. Camp is anti-serious. More precisely, camp involves a new, more complex relation to the serious. One can be serious about the frivolous and frivolous about the serious. So I hope this gives you something. Please save me a seat at your presentation, and there's only one thing left for me to say. That's good luck and don't fuck it up.
Nice. That's really nice.
So don't fuck it up. That sounds a bit ambitious, but it comes from somewhere, right?
Yes.
And you probably know where from.
It
Tell
comes
me.
from somewhere. Yeah, it's a quote in a quote. No, it's a famous sentence that RuPaul always says before the lip sync for your life, where the contestants of the show need to lip sync against each other to see who gets eliminated, and it's a classic. Became a classic over time. Don't fuck it up.
Yes. Yeah. And what does the quote tell you? What does it say to you?
No, it's actually thank you, Paul, for such a nice quote. I didn't know it before, so I also learned something today. Very beautiful quote. And well, I think it's really in line with what we also want to work on ourselves. And it was for me at least, it was a confirmation that we're on the right path of what we're doing and what we're working on. So it would be a nice quote for me to hear.
And for you, Germain?
Yeah, thank you. I also like it. I think it's a nice quote. I like the complementarity of the examples, like that one word complementary the other in a very different way. I think it's kind of nice. It's a food for thought.
Well, yes, food for thought indeed. I'm very curious if the quote can be of any value during the residency soon, and I hope it's in your pocket and you take it along. So now I will give you the time to share a quote or thought for the next maker. That will be Luc Brandjes, a teeterboard expert. He will be working on the investigation how the teeterboard discipline is influenced with the teeterboard partner when the teeterboard partner is replaced by an object. And I've asked you to prepare a quote for Luc that next time in the next episode we will discuss. Can you share your quote with us for Luc?
Well, we kind of have two little quotes because since we're two, so we both picked something. So Germain, would you like to start?
Okay, I can start. Okay, so hey Luc. So my quote for you would be a quote that kind of guides me through life that I really like. It's a super classic and known one. It says, they didn't know that it was impossible, so they did it.
Thank you very much. And then Nick, can you share your quote or thought?
Yes. Hello, Luc. Here is my quote from you. It's from a very intelligent woman called Dinah Dash. She is one of my drag characters. So here you go. Less is not more. More is more. But more is not always better unless it's glitter. Keep your darlings, cut the crap, and don't forget to have fun.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nick, and thank you, Germain. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us, inviting us, and it was really nice.
So we're very curious on what Luc's reaction will be.
Yes, I'll be tuned.
We'll hear that in the next episode. Next episode will be soon coming with Luc Brandjes himself, who will start his residency next week, followed by Ariel Roper, Jessica Helmuth in June, father-daughter duo Jan, illustrator, and Mart, Ariel Woman de Kinder in July, the juggler Lisa van Brakel in September, and acrobatic trio Sinking Sideways in November, so stay tuned. And one last thing that I want to share with you, you can ask questions to the makers. Questions from the audience. Questions from the audience. Do you have a question, comment, suggestion, thought, or quote that you would like to share with the maker of next week, Luc, or one of the following makers? Great fun. Send us an email to info@tent.eu and we will include your contribution in the next podcast. And for now, till next time. This podcast is a collaboration with Tent, House for Contemporary Circus, myself as the host, director and editor, Nadja van der Weijden. Music is made by tent house maker Benjamin Monkey Kuitenbrouwer. The mixage is done by Jahid Metin. And many thanks to the makers, House of Circus, Luc Brandjes, Jessica Helmuth, Sinking Sideways, Lisa van Brakel, and Mart en Jan de Kinder. Tent House for Contemporary Circus is supported by the Performing Arts Fund and the Amsterdam Fund of the Arts. For the latest news, subscribe to our newsletter and visit our website www.tent.eu and follow us on Instagram. If you want to experience more of Tent, it's possible soon. Come to our live stream of Back to Base on May 29th. Check the website for more info on this. Bye bye!